Hey, have you ever wondered what happens at a home inspection? What truly the inspector looks at? This is Brandon with the Fox Real Estate Group. We're here at a home in Vancouver that we are actually actively getting a home inspection on for one of our clients. We're going to dive deep into what actually happens during the home inspection. What does the inspector look at? Top to bottom, inside and out, everything that's going on, to really make sure that you have a full understanding of everything that's going on during the home inspection. We're also going to give you some ideas of what we look at before we even write an offer on a home to point out any things that might become an issue through the inspection for our clients. We're also going to give you some tips and tricks on how to negotiate repairs, credits, price reductions to the seller to help offset any need for any repairs. All right, one of the most common things that we hear from buyers when they're walking through a home is that they ask, is this going to pass inspection? Or, hey, there's no way this is ever going to pass inspection. Well, here's how the inspections work. Inspections are not pass-fail. Inspections are just a report and an inspection of the home showing you everything that's going on inside the home to let you know if there are any issues that you may need to deal with now or later. But at no point in time do they say this home fails inspection or this home passes inspection. Again, it is all information for you to understand what's going on. Inside the house, what's the inspector going to look like? They're going to go through every single room in the house and they're looking for every outlet. Does it work? Is the polarity correct? Is it grounded? Does every light switch work? Are there any signs of leaking on the sheetrock in the ceiling? Is there anything wrong with the flooring? They're gonna look at that. They're gonna look at the fireplace. Has it been cleaned in a while? Does it need to be serviced? And they're gonna make their recommendations. Into the kitchen, they're gonna make sure all of the appliances work. They're gonna make sure there's no plumbing leaks in anything. And they're gonna make sure, again, that everything in here, there's GFCI outlets, a lot of electrical stuff. They're gonna make sure everything works the way it should be and is up to the current safety codes. So the inspector, he's gonna get in the attic, because guess what? I don't want to. And most people don't get up into their attic, but the inspector is gonna get up in the attic. He's gonna be looking for a lot of things. He's gonna be looking for any signs of moisture, any leaking from the roof, any signs of mold, mildew. Are all the venting from the bathroom and the kitchen, do they actually vent outside the house? Is there proper insulation? All of these things he's gonna take a look at to make sure that it's in a great working order, just so you don't have to. All right, one of the things they're gonna look at, hot water heater, right? Now here, right now, I can tell you, I've been through these a few times. There's a couple of things that are gonna be noticeable. There are no earthquake straps on here. That's a super easy fix. It is a lender requirement. The inspector will call that out and we'll want to get that addressed before the appraiser comes out. But they will need to put some seismic straps on there to make sure that if there was an earthquake or any movement, it wouldn't fall over and burn anybody. So in the backyard, one thing we're going to look at, hey, there's a trampoline over here. Inspector's not going to look at the trampoline. Shed, they'll take a look at the shed. Over here, when you look at the crawl space, right? You can see the bark dust coming up to the crawl space. They're gonna look at this. Does it have proper venting? They're gonna get in the crawl space and make sure that there's a vapor barrier, that the insulation is properly hung, that there is, that all of the ducting is properly insulated, and that there's no issues or no leaks coming in from the house down into the crawl space. In Southwest Washington, one of the things that's super common in the winter is water in the crawl space. Now, if you're from Arizona, most people freak out about this because that's what they never have it down there. Here, very common and very solvable. Sump pump, drainage, completely solves the issue. You just want to make sure that it's not reoccurring. When we walk up to a house, one of the things that we look at and we're walking around it before we even make an offer is what are the obvious things that we may want to look at. One of the things that we want to look at is the roof, right? We can kind of look at the roof and say, is it newer? Is it older? Does it have a lot of moss? We want to make sure that the roof, like this one, actually looks like it's in really good condition. Now, if you turn around and you look at this one over here, it needs some moss removal. That might cause an issue. That's something we would be able to see before we wrote an offer. We want to look at that. We want to look at, are there cracks in the walls that are larger than just normal settling? Are there any issues that might look like water leaks? Anything that we can address up front, just knowing when you get into a home, the fewer surprises there are, the better. One of the questions we get once the inspection is done, how long to get the report? Most companies out there will get it to you immediately after the inspection. Details Home Inspection, who is doing our inspection today, they will actually have that report to us within an hour or so of the inspection. Detailed pictures, line items of anything that's going on and wrong, and then that's how we'll use that to address the request or any concerns to that. One great part, our inspector up here, any questions that come up in the report, they're available for questions and clarity anytime after the inspection. Now, when we get that inspection report, what we want to look at is what are the items that cause you concern. Everybody has a different level of handiness, and there's different concerns for everybody. So what one buyer may say, absolutely, I have to have this repaired. Another buyer say, hey, you know what? That's not a big deal. I can fix that when I move in. So what we want to look at is what is a concern for you? And then we can negotiate those repairs in a couple of different ways. One, we can just ask the seller to get those completed. We can also ask the seller just for a credit towards your closing costs that you could then use that money to get that done after closing and have it done by your contractor your way and make sure that it's done to your standards. Now, the one great part about using a credit as a negotiation tool is that makes it easier for the seller. They don't actually have to deal with any work getting done, so they're usually willing to give you more money than the cost of the repair as kind of a convenience fee. So think about that. It might actually be more beneficial for you to ask for the credit. The third option is asking for a price reduction. Now, that can be great if you're paying cash for the home, but if you're not paying cash for the home and you ask for a price reduction, say from $500 to $490, you don't technically get that $10,000 back into your bank account. It just means you're going to have a little smaller monthly payment. So some things to think about on if you want that $10,000 to actually pay for the repairs, or if you just are more concerned with getting your payment down. Either way, different tips and tricks on how to negotiate that, and we can get you into the home, make sure that you're comfortable with the condition of the home. The inspector is going to make sure that they're looking in the places that we're not, and make sure that when you get into that home, there are no surprises. Like I said earlier, the worst thing that can happen in the process of buying a home are surprises. So we're here to make sure that there are no surprises in this. Again, this is Brandon Fox with the Fox Real Estate Group. Thanks for watching our video. Please like, subscribe, and follow us for new content about everything homes in Southwest Washington, getting pushed out every week. Thank you.